Good morning, everybody. I'm going to shut my bedroom door because you can probably hear my Roomba working very hard, vacuuming for me in my living room. But I can't shut it all the way because Benjamin will probably want in. So, how are you today? I hope you are well. Yesterday I worked on my nails and this is how it turned out. I'm new to using gel polish, which you have to use like a UV light to set it, and I didn't do like a fantastic job. I don't love it, but in any case, today we're gonna continue working on this French AngelFish page from my book, Caribbean Sea Life, which you can find on Amazon, and I linked where you can find all the special links and my socials in the comments there or whatever, the chat. And we've been working on this for a few days now as part of my color along this month. This is a coloring book that I published, and it came out at the beginning of February. And let's see what else. I'm using Prismacolor pencils today. You don't have to use Prismacolors. You don't have to follow along with what I'm doing. You can use your own thing, do your own thing. You can just hang out, or you can, actually follow along, or even color in your own book. Whatever. Do your own thing. I just like company. But apparently my internet is not fantastic today, so do let me know if it's super terrible. Not that I can really do anything about that. I've been trying to decide what we are going to work on today, and I'm really gravitating towards working on the other angelfish in the picture. The first day we worked on the juvenile angelfish. The second day, Monday, we worked on the background here. And then today, I guess we'll work on this guy. Oh, I'm going to link also where you can find, one second, I don't know. You can head to my YouTube channel and subscribe or whatever, and you can also see the previous videos that we did for this color along. So definitely check that out. If you're just joining us, I just linked that. And so what I do when I want to color a realistic thing, or even like not a realistic thing, I'll look up realistic things for color inspiration. I do apologize for the Roomba, but it needed to get done. I needed to vacuum. And so what we do is I usually go to Google and I will, there we go. I'll find an image that I feel works out really well for what I want to color. And I kind of like this one, even though you can't really see it, but on the image you can see like kind of like little dots that look like blue. I know that's from, hey Amy, glad to have you. You are one of two people in here this morning. I was just talking about how we are going to work on the adult angelfish today. I think next time we'll work on the coral. I thought I was going to work on the coral today because I wasn't feeling very good, but then I had some ginger ale and my tummy's feeling a little bit better. Then also you may hear in the background my Roomba doing Roomba things. And so, and as usual, I'm having my morning shake. And my bladder is feeling extra small today, so I may have to pause and go potty more often than usual. Benjamin just hopped up on the desk and hopped into his kitty window perch, which, if you don't mind some shaking of the camera, I will show you Mr. Benjamin on his kitty window perch. What are you doing? You're thinking about jumping up top? You shouldn't. It's a bad plan. Well, anyway, that's Benjamin. He likes to supervise. He's almost always hanging out with me. He kind of likes me. Apparently, I got a little bit of crap in the way here. Apologize for my arms. I've been working this morning on my new website, setting it up, and it's been kind of, everything took much longer than I anticipated. But, okay, so you see, I am Amy. Oh, I should do this so people, if they're here on YouTube, they can see. Amy is asking if we can color a cat or kitten picture one day. After I do this page with you all, I'll evaluate and see how that goes. But I'm currently working on a cat themed coloring book, which I think you guys seen if you're in my Facebook group, which I linked it above in the comments or whatever. And you can join the Facebook group. Amy's already in, but I'm trying to keep y'all updated with how I'm doing on the cat in nature themed coloring book. I finished 4 out of 25 pages. So illustrations, for coloring pages. So we'll see how that goes. But I do. Oh, hold on. I'll be right back. 1 second. So if you do want to do a color along, I do have this themed kitty book, Tiny Cats by Coco Wayo, and that would be really fun to do. I think the pages look really fun, and they're just like simple cuteness. So I'll link that. I just gotta find it really quick. And if you buy it now, you'll have it available. I think maybe we'll do that next for, a little simple coloring page to do together. Wouldn't that be fun? No, I'm looking. Sorry. Still looking. Oh, shoot. Tiny Cats. Coco. Boop, 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 boop. One moment. Still finding the link. Apologize. Here we go. And this is an affiliate link. But, so if you purchase through this link I just posted, I'll get like 12 cents or something. So, if you grab this book from Amazon, and we can do that next time. Oops, it didn't post everywhere. Wait, did it work? It says an error occurred. Hopefully that worked. So that is the link for this Tiny Cats book on Amazon. It was cheap. It has a lot of images. I think there's a ton of images. So I don't remember it being expensive or anything. It's pretty cute. So that's I'd like to do that. That would be fun. Okay, so back to the real world here. So we're gonna color the adult angelfish. So I'm gonna pull out some colors. Oh boy, things are falling down. My desk is full. So pulling out some colors, and I'll state the name of the colors as I use them, because when I start out, I just pull out whatever colors I think will work, and I can't guarantee that I will use them for sure. So I like to pull out lots of, we're going to be using yellows and blacks and maybe some blues. Hey, Amanda. Happy birthday to your kid. So, and then grab some, just a couple oranges and brownish orange for some shading maybe. And then we're going to go over to my blue section, and I'm going to pull out just some random blues that I think will work out. I may pull out different ones, but I like to have some options in front of me as I am coloring, which is a lot of options usually. So put those off to the side. Take a swig. I'm gonna shake. My Benjamin's really staring at my desk right now. I wanted to show you also one more thing. This is my little hack. It's just an empty Clorox container, but I just empty my shavings, my pencil shavings into it. You can't see, sorry. You can't see anything. Anyway, it's my little tiny desk garbage can if you needed a little hack. But now I can easily carry that around with me wherever I am. And this is the sharpener I use, is a Prismacolor Scholar sharpener, and they're cheap. You can get like 3 of them for $10 or something. Okay, so let's begin. And just, so I noticed he's got quite a bit of blue hanging out on him. Okay, hold on. So hopefully someone send a chat message really quick, and I put this on full screen on my laptop so that I could see the picture better, but it doesn't show the chat. If it doesn't show, then I'll go back to small screen. But okay, okay, getting started. I want to put in some blue where I want to add some blue highlights. And I think for now I'll begin with some cerulean blue sharpen. All right, I'm not seeing any new chat messages here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. It didn't come up for some reason. No, you want to see that bigger. Nope. Okay, it's gonna have to be that way. I can go in a little bit. Woo. And it's falling. Sorry. It's falling. Okay. There. Okay. Okay, where I want to put the blue highlights. So it seems like there's a good bit of blue on the face, and then maybe like the top, maybe a little bit in here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do the yellow first, actually, because same reason I did the yellow first last time. If I get that yellow down, the black and stuff, like sometimes there's a little bit of dust, it will get into the areas that are supposed to be lighter. And that's never a good time. So I'm going to take, for now, the lemon yellow 915. Give it a sharpen. just put some color in where the areas are supposed to be yellow. And then later, well, we'll work on this for now. So how was everybody's weekend and beginning of your week? It's been pretty slow around here. Been working on my kitty coloring book a lot, and then obviously I did this on Monday. Yesterday I worked on my nails. Not super in love with them, but it'll be fine for now. That took me a really long time. Then I worked more on my coloring book. This morning I've been thinking about a family member who I haven't been in contact with. Ooh, a new truck. What kind? Amy got a new truck yesterday. For those of you on YouTube, I think the YouTube chat and the Facebook chat, they don't show up at the same time for everybody, so I'll try to be verbal about it or use the little option to post it up there in the video. Dodge Ram. Is it a new truck or a new to you truck? Oh yeah, so I haven't been in contact with this family member for like a bajillion years. And so I actually, they've always encouraged my artsiness. And for some reason, when I finished this coloring book, 2021, that's basically brand new. I mean, right. But when I finished this coloring book, I thought about him a lot. And like this morning, I woke up at like 5, which I don't wake up that early, but my brain would not stop thinking about him. So I Googled him to make sure he wasn't dead, 1, and then kind of old. And then 2, I saw a cool article on him, and I guess their house. I've never been to their house because they lived in a different state, but I met him in person like once. Anyway, their house is like pirate themed. So I saw this article from 2019 and I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't see any obituaries. So I was like, okay, he's still kicking. And what he and I used to do were exchange letters. This was before email was a huge thing. Yep, I'm that old. And well before most people used it mostly. I remember when I started using it more in high school, I asked him if he would email instead, and that just didn't work out as well. And so I think that made us lose a little bit of contact. But anyway, I woke up this morning and I typed him out an email. This is the Deco Yellow 1011. And did I say I wrote him out an email? No, I did not. I wrote him out a letter. I typed out a letter and I printed it and I brought it down to the office for the mail people to take. And so we'll see how that goes. I just was like, my brain just would not stop until I did the thing. But I only got like 5 hours of sleep last night, so we'll see how I do today. So far, my tummy is not happy. But it's fine, whatever. Should decide what yellow I'm going to go in on these little yellow bits. Is the shared screen thing you see here, is that something you guys like seeing or no? Because it's my inspiration image to decide what colors I'm using. If you don't like it, I can remove it, but I think it's helpful. Should be helpful anyway. I do kind of want to see it larger though. Let's see. Sorry, I'm messing with the thing. Here we go. Can I pop chat out? I don't think I can. Okay, that works better. I can see the chat. I have no idea about the BR I'm on first. I don't know those words. But sometimes I go through time where I just don't sleep very good, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna grab this cream, I think, or eggshell. Cream 914, and I'm gonna go in where I feel it should be a little bit lighter, but it's not really that much lighter, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my white. white 938, and I'm gonna go in. You can't tell now, but I think you'll be able to tell when I finish everything. So I'm pressing pretty hard. Water pills, bathroom breaks. Oh, gosh, I wake up to go to the bathroom. I'm only 35. I tell you what, my bladder is a jerk. But, oh well, 'tis life. So we're coloring this where I want it to end up being lighter yellow, kind of to show some light reflection or whatever. Might look okay. I appreciate you hanging out, Amy. I thought more people would be into this, but it's okay. It can take a long time to build little community things like this. I think I talked about how I wanted to do I don't feel like a baby. I lived a lot more life than most older people I know, but physically, my body doesn't agree. But, oh yeah, I talked about it before a little bit. I wanted to do like a color along in person. I don't know if I still want to do that. I've been really kind of hermity lately, and I'm not really wanting to see like a lot of people like doing this. In my little studio, hanging out with my cat, and chilling. Picking another yellow. I think I'll add some canary yellow 916 in the darker areas. Canary yellow is such a nice yellow. I actually usually gravitate towards the orangey yellows. I don't know why. I've never really liked orange as a color myself, but like more like a dandelion yellow is always pretty. And I know people have lives too, and I kind of do this at a weird time of day since I'm on an Eastern time zone. It's 11:09 a.m. here, and we don't have time changes here. So when it's not the summertime change, we're usually an hour ahead of Florida or the East Coast and 4 hours ahead of the West Coast. But in the summer, we're only an hour ahead. it's interesting to remind people about that, because I know a lot of people, like my mom and stuff, will want to call me, and she's in Oregon. She'll want to call me at like 9 p.m. her time, which can be like 10, midnight my time, or 1 a.m. 10, 11, 12, yeah, 1 a.m. depending. So she has to call me right away, or when she's on her way home from work, or in the very mornings, her very mornings. But I've lived in completely different time zones before. Oh, I now grabbed Sunburst Yellow 917. Oh, you know what? I just came out with, I did a swatch book, and I haven't really advertised it yet because I want to get it in my little hands first, but I just ordered it and won't come until like April something. But it is a swatch book, so I can link that for you guys if you're interested. Yeah, I'll link that really quick while I'm thinking about it. One moment, please. And you can't tell what the inside looks like right now because I haven't edited the thing, but here is the link to it. If I have, let's see. Sorry, my brain's all over the place today, apparently. I hope nobody minds. I did print off some different ones. Okay, here we go. So it'll look similar to this on the inside, that swatch book. There'll be enough space for you to swatch a color of your colored pencil or whatever, and then enough room to put the number of the colored pencil. And I do this so that there's more colors on one page, since now there's a few brands of colored pencil that have like 300. The ones that have, like I have the ones that are in the swatch book are smaller boxes. So there's, I think, 100 per page. 100 boxes per page. But that's the basic gist of what's inside that book. And I'm really excited to get it to do some real swatching, and then I can either cut it out of there and put it with whatever pencils or medium it matches, or I can leave it in the book. I love swatching. It's a really helpful practice to do, especially if you just got like a brand new to you medium or colored pencil. That way you can learn how the pencil behaves, or paint, or whatever the case may be, before you start a project with it, which I think is really important for me, because I don't want to be guessing what color something is, because most coloring, colored pencils outsides don't super match what the inside is. And I find that pretty annoying myself. I mean, I know it's kind of hard. It would be hard to do that. But, because I mean, look, this isn't even like super close. The pencil is way darker than that. Anyway, so when you swatch it, you learn how the pencil behaves. You learn what actual color it is, and how you may need to use it. So I learned with the Color colored pencils, which I do think are a decent budget colored pencil, I learned that they have a little bit too hard of lead for me. And I started to develop some pretty hardcore, what's it called? carpal tunnel symptoms. And my 3 fingers were asleep for like an entire day. And then the tip of my thumb was tingly for like over a week when I used those for like when I was swatching them and stuff. So that wasn't fun. Excuse me. I'm going to grab the canary yellow again. 916. And just doing a little bit more yellowy goods. I want to get these yellow bits done before I work on the black. I think I worked on the black first last time. I can't remember now. Or I started working on it. And so you can see a little bit of black like in there, just a little, but not a big deal. But if I can prevent those sort of things, I like to try my best. So, I talked a little bit about it already. I already talked about what I did this weekend on Monday. I don't know what to talk about right now. I'm feeling a little bit lost. And then I'm going to grab this Spanish orange because I see at the top of the dorsal fin, like the part that goes this part on the picture, it's kind of like a brownie orange. So I want to put some more orangey yellow in it. And I'm coloring kind of lightly right now because I'm not sure if this is exactly what I want to do. Usually turns out okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Then I'm going to grab, let's see. Should I do this one first? Okay, I'm going to do the cadmium orange, the 118. It kind of looks like there's some of that like that here. And down a little bit, but not very far. It's a little bit bright. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this pumpkin orange and do a little scribble down here for some low lights. It looks pretty red. Not very brown. Okay, I'm going to look for a browner color maybe real quick. Don't think goldenrod will work. Maybe this burnt umber. So let's see what this light umber 941 looks like. Don't usually like the umber because I don't know, it's just like it's kind of a weird color. I'm glad you're coloring. Are you still working on your little fish that you showed us? I don't love that, but it's done. I'm going to go ahead and add this yellowed orange 1002 and call it artistic license. Well, it looks all right. It'll be fine. I see. Oops, excuse me. The wing, and the fin on the inspiration image. It looks like there's some yellow, but I can't tell if it is like see-through to the under, which we will do because fish fins are usually see-through, which is just crazy. There's some fins that like that porcupine puffer or the porcupine fish, it has polka dots on its fins. which is kind of fun. So we'll do a little bit of yellow here. That's what we'll just say the yellow is on its fin see-throughness. I'm so excited for the kitty coloring book. I can't even tell you how exciting it is. I'm feeling like really inspired by it. I'm grabbing the lemon yellow 915. And like that's kind of like all I want to do right now is sit, watch TV, and work on that coloring book, which is not great for me because I have so many projects I need to do around the house. I'm sure my husband is super annoyed. But, you know, I'm sure he's used to it. We've been married for like 13 years. I'm sorry, what were you nervous to ask? I wasn't looking up, I don't think, when you typed that, so I'm not following what we're talking about. Oh, it's pretty good. I like that one. Oh, thank you. I just did them yesterday. I used gel polish, which you have to, use a light lamp thing to set, and they're kind of thick, and so I just need more practice. That's all. They'll work for now. I might get annoyed and like try again, just practice some more, but for now it worked just fine. You're nervous to ask? Yeah. I'm excited for the coloring book I'm making, but I'm also excited to color in another coloring book too. You know, it's really hard. Oh, I grabbed that cadmium orange hue 118, and I don't know why, but I decided to add some of it in there. It's kind of hard to color in my own coloring book, to tell you the truth. I'm more, because, you know, I spent all the time designing it and stuff, so it's kind of like old news. But I think it's a good way, maybe, you know, to be honest, I thought it would be a good way to advertise that it exists. Sales have kind of stopped a bit. They were going really, really well. And then, I don't know. I'm new to like advertising stuff and being super serial about it. So it's all a little bit new to me. Oh, you wrote a book? That's cool. So Amy said she wrote a book and it was hard to read after she wrote it. Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to like read it, read an actual book. I have a hard enough time sitting down to like do something like that anyway. Like read. But I can't imagine trying to read my own book. I've published a couple things. Excuse me. I've published a card game scorebook, a few blank journals. Well, dot grid mostly. I like dot grid, so that's why I was like, I'm doing that. And then the swatch book, which mostly makes stuff that I would use. I'm not very good at doing the whole, who is my audience? I'm my own audience. Oh, so now I'm taking the Sunburst Yellow 917 and kind of going over that orange I just put down, blending it out with this lighter orange. I'm sure it was a lot of work to write a book. I always think about writing a book, and people say the things I've done in my life can be inspiring, but it's like hard to sit down and know where to start. I just need to be famous, and then someone will write a book about me instead. But the whole coloring book thing has been pretty cool so far. And I've noticed the more 5 years, wow, what's it about? The more creative I am, the more ideas I get. And I've always heard that. It's true. It's 100% true. But sometimes it's just hard to stay on that sort of like path in your brain, especially, when you live a life too. Oh, it's about you? Well, that's cool. I was kind of hoping that this, and I'm just, naive, but I was hoping that this wouldn't take 2 hours today, but it's already been almost 45 minutes, so it's probably going to take at least 2 hours. Right on. I don't know if I could sit there and write a book. I don't know. Okay, what do I want to do? I'm grabbing the cream, the PC 914, and I'm going to go over these little bits where I colored, or just on the end where I colored in white. It's not making a huge difference, but it's lightening up the gradient just a little. Now I want to go in and decide what section of dots I'm going to do a little bit lighter, what section I'm going to do a little bit darker. If you look close at, takes up time for you. Well, I'm glad it gives you something to do. Brain fart. Oh yeah, I noticed if you look at the inspiration image, there is some of these dots that are more orangey brown than they are yellow. And then there's some dots, looks like in the back end and maybe the top, where they're just not quite as yellow in the front. So maybe I'll do some of those in like cream here after I finish doing what I was doing here. I'm going to sharpen it again because those dots are tiny. I color fast. I feel like I color slow. But so the top bits, this is going to be interesting, trying to go between all these dots with the black, because like the black will color over it, but which you don't want, because I'll cover up the color. So you gotta be careful, even though, but I do really think going in and doing the light colors like this, where you don't want a lot of other color contamination, helps. So yeah, so we decided the top, the front, the back, and it looks like a little bit of the bottom. What part does the whole thing? Well, I mean, if you add it up, it's been 4 hours, almost 5 hours just to do this much. And that's 5 hours straight, which I don't usually do because I often am easily distracted. Like, I usually, if I'm coloring, I'm watching TV, so I'm looking up and watching it quite often. And so then that takes, obviously a lot more time because you're not solely focused. But, I mean, it doesn't have to be fast. I hope I get a letter back from my family member. That would be cool. I don't know. Maybe they don't remember me. They're kind of old. And my grandpa, who is their relation, passed away with Alzheimer's or dementia. I can't remember which, but so I wonder, like, who all is going to end up with struggling with Alzheimer's or dementia. Makes me wonder if I'm going to get it. I don't know. Oh, you know what coloring book I put in my cart today? I bought so much stuff lately. Oh my goodness. Not great. If my husband looks at the bank account, he's going to be like, what the hell are you doing? But hopefully he just won't. But anyway, I put in, back up. The artist, R.J. Hampson, who did the Frog's Tale coloring book, I went on his website and he has some free coloring page downloads. And so I downloaded it, and he has like almost a page from almost every book that he's done. And I didn't really notice, I was not into pirates. So he has this pirate book, but I was like, I'm not into pirates. But the page that came with his free downloads is a pirate one. It's so cute. Let me grab it. So look how adorable this guy is. Like, I'm excited to color like his beard and his tattoos. Like, what do you think that is coming off of this? Sorry. I have no idea. Like smoke or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I saw this style, which is really cute. It reminds me of one of my favorite artists. His name is Francois Graham. And you think it's smoke? What do you think that is, though? I have no idea. That this bird is looking at. Is it a fire? I don't know. I can't tell. But anyway, so I ended up putting that in my cart today. His pirate coloring book, because I looked at a couple other pages and it looks fun. Which I was telling myself that I wasn't going to get any more coloring books because I've colored exactly. Oh, hey, Bruce. Bruce is on YouTube. I don't think my Facebook people can see, but he just said hello. He is a beekeeper, and we became friends over YouTube when I was doing my homesteading channel stuff, and we're both beekeepers. Glad to see you. He does gardening too, which is cool. Amy says hi. She's on Facebook. I don't think you guys can see each other's little messages between the different things. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I bought. I've done exactly one whole page in this, and then 2 half pages. Yeah, Bruce is in Pennsylvania, right? PA. Anyway, he's on the East Coast there. in the New England area, and he does sell honey for sure if you're in that area. And he said yep. I'm not going to put it up, but he said yep. Okay, going to my next. Oh yeah, there's this like brownish orange. I'm going to do it with the cadmium orange hue. I helped him come up with his name, Swarmstead. It's awesome. I want this more brown. It's lighter than this color, but it's brownish. Okay, going back through my colors again. Oh, maybe this one. I think that'll work. Mineral Orange, 1033. I think that'll work better. Anyway, we were good friends. And I miss beekeeping, but I don't want to keep mean bees, and that's what kind of bees they have here, and I'm not into that. I just posted on my regular Facebook profile page a picture that I took from collecting a swarm in 2019, and I was like, oh, it was such a cool picture. That was one of my favorite parts of beekeeping, was collecting swarms, in which Swarmstead, Bruce, he does a lot of that. Add a little bit of this color and a little bit of there. I do have to say though, I think the high desert honey I had from Central Oregon had to be the best honey I've ever had. It was so good and so unique. Nothing else tasted like it. Right now, where I live, it's kind of a pain to find it's not a pain to find. I know where to get it, but I don't like going to the Saturday market very much, because you got to get there at like the butt crack of dawn, and that's just not my way. I think they start selling at like 4:30, which is ridiculous. It's dark still. Like, no thanks. But so I've gotten some local honey, but I don't love the tropical honey as much as I liked the high desert honey. Who knew you could be picky about honey? I can. Benjamin snoring. He's sitting in the window still. You are what? Or Amy said, I am, but I don't know what she am. She said her dog Bully snores louder than her husband. Our old dog, his name was Cooge. He was a pit bull beagle mix. He snored pretty good. My husband says that I would mistake his snoring for Dan snoring, and you know what? I don't think I did, because Dan always snored, And while Cooge always snored, it was an adorable snore, not an annoying snore. Oh, you're picky about your honey. What kind of honey is your favorite honey? Okay, when we did that, is there any more brownish? Not really. Okay, so we're gonna go to the yellow, I think. Or, actually, we'll go with the lemon yellow, 915. Sharpen her up. And we'll kind of do like a kind of a gradient from colors and do the more yellow here, like the canary yellow maybe in the center. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's kind of a blasé day here. It rained this morning. Seems pretty cloudy. I was thinking that this morning, because I woke up earlier than basically I have ever here, and I was like, wow, it's very Oregon coasty outside, but hot. So the Oregon coast is always kind of drizzly, especially in the mornings. And so it's kind of nice to see that here, because you get all like, kind of like, I'm not loving this yellow on there, but I think it'll be fine when we get the black going. Which, after we're done with these little dots, we will do the thing I first wanted to do, which was the kind of the blue hue in the background, or on the fish, I mean. Oh. Oh, you're talking about the honey. I was very confused. Well, yeah, Shih Tzus, they're kind of funny. But a pure honey, well, usually, depending on the maker or whatever of the honey, it will say what kind of flowers the honey is from. And one of my favorites, if you want to get specific with it, and is kind of one of the most common one. I really like clover honey. That's really good. And then I usually like wildflower honey. Because it comes from a mix of everything, which seems more, that's more of the way of the bee. Not the individual bee, but I won't get into detail about all that. It's not very coloring related. But I kept bees for 4 years. I only got stung once. Wasn't even by my own bees. I was so upset. I was like, lost a whole 4-year record, or actually like my whole life record. That was the first time I got stung by a honeybee ever. It was during, I was doing an exam for the Master Beekeeping Program in Oregon. And so I had to inspect a colony in front of other master beekeeper people, and they were stressing me out. It was a time I would not have checked the bees because it was kind of a drizzly day, And they don't love that, which who does? So that's understandable, but they would not reschedule. And so then I got stung and I cried. And I cried because I got stung, not because it hurt. It was just like a whole thing. I felt really pathetic about crying, but I was like, it was so stressful. It was like the top of my stress level that day. You got stung in the forehead this morning. When you get stung in the face, do you get a pretty good reaction, or do you no longer react really when you get face stings, or did you ever? Bruce said he got stung this morning. Okay, I'm gonna go with the next yellow, the Canary Yellow 916, sharpen it. Oh, this is a better yellow, even for those. So I'm going to go over those a bit, if I can catch them all. A question I get asked a lot since, oh, you got a little bump. Bruce said he got a little bump from the stink, but it went down. Well, that's good. I get asked a lot since moving here is if I miss anything from back in Oregon. And yeah, I miss good Mexican food. A lot. Like a lot. I basically would have lived off of Mexican food back home. Even the like more American Mexican food, like that's way better than anything here. We did try a new restaurant, which is a Mexican restaurant, but it's kind of like high end, and I don't know, it was just a little bit on the fancy side. For me, it was okay. I'd go again, but it's not the same. So that's what I missed most about Oregon and where I was living, Central Oregon. And I also miss my donkeys a lot. I had 2 donkeys. They were large standard, so they were almost the size of a horse, just a little bit smaller. We had Sassy and Stuart was Sassy's son, and they were just good, wholesome critters. They were my heart animals. Stuart was my guy. Sassy was obsessed with Dan, so that worked out well. Miss Stuart, he was a character. I try not to think about him, but I've been thinking about him the last couple of days because I miss him so much. It was like one of the biggest sacrifices we had to do to move, and that sucked to give up my donkeys. And I cried really hard when I had to get rid of my chickens because I'm a weenie. I actually have a video on my YouTube about when I think I had to get rid of all the animals. And it was tough, but I had to do it for my mental health. I was struggling pretty bad there. But I struggle a little bit here, but right now it's a little bit more situational that triggers things. But definitely not as bad as back in Oregon. It's really nice not to be in the cold. Okay, so I'm going to say we're done with the yellow. So we're going to go in with the blue that I originally picked. And I'm going to do some highlights. It looks like on the inspiration image, we got some bright blue right under the eye, which I didn't notice that before. Well, it's kind of like electric blue, but the electric blue in the Prismacolor set is terrible. Like, it is not good. So, I gotta decide what blue I want to use for that. Ooh, no, that's not a blue. Let's see. Okay, no, not that either. Maybe. Okay, so we're gonna use, and there's none of it in the actual drawing of where you would color, but I'm gonna add it in because it looks like a fun little addition. This is the non-photo blue, and it just has a little tiny bit like right under the eye. I'm gonna add that in. Is there anywhere else that I see? Zooming in. Not really, but I'm going to add this before I go in with this other blue, which is the cerulean blue. I'm going to use the non-photo blue 919 and do some highlights that I see around the fish. Just where I think more blue will show up. I like how on the adult there's yellow orange around the eye. So that'll be a little more interesting than the just black that was on the juvenile over here. Oh, there's 3 people here now. Who is hanging out? You have to say hello so that I can say hello back. Oh, someone left. Fine. Don't hang out. They left apparently. That's fine. Too bad Jenna doesn't seem to be here this morning. Well, is it morning still? Yeah, it's almost noon. There we go. Added that blue in. Then, seems like there'll be a little bit on this yellow stripe. I hear my husband walking around. Pardon my yawn. I don't even know what to talk about right now. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, I have to pick up a prescription today. And I need to make a reservation at one of the restaurants that serve brunch this weekend because my husband and I are going to brunch every weekend right now. We're trying out like all the places on the island that we can figure out that has brunch. One thing that's so crazy about here is just like places really are terrible at advertising. So you just don't know something exists really until like you hear from somebody or you run across it yourself or stuff like that. And so I kind of make that. I said I would make that reservation. I think that's all. I really also need to make an appointment to get my oil changed. I would do it. I would hire someone to do it here because I'm lazy. I could do it. I don't want to. But we're not allowed to change our oil in the parking lot of the condos. So that's a thing. That's a thing about condo associations is they have rules for things. Excuse me. Golly. Guess my lack of sleep last night is getting to me. And I think I said I'd do at least 2 more, including today. So at least 1 more live color along for this event. Probably do it on Friday. And then hopefully we'll be done with this page. But if not, I'll do probably another one. But for sure, we'll do 1 more. And then, unless I pass out here while we're on the live, we'll finish this guy today. And then next time we'll work on the coral and these little fishies. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Welcome back, Amanda. We haven't gotten much farther. We're adding some blue highlights. Or where we think some blue will show. Or just for interest. A little bit of artistic license. Did you all see Esther's page she put in the Facebook group? Is looking really good. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't know if I can stop yawning right now. Already did the yellow on the spots. Yes, we did some of the light yellow. I think we used cream for some spots around the edges. And then I tried out using, I think, we might have used Deco Yellow. Deco Yellow or cream, one of the two. And then I used the Canary Yellow. Well, I tried out first using the lemon yellow. I didn't like that. And then I went to the canary yellow. And, yes. But now we're on the final stage of this guy. I can't remember, Amanda, if you posted your progress shots in the group or not. And don't forget, you can post anything art related to the group. Just right now, I'm kind of focused on coloring book stuff, but I'll be posting art stuff. Oh, black crim seeds. Did you ever plant them. Oh, so Swarmstead Bruce, he is on YouTube for the new people who came in. He said that he's heading outside to plant black crim seeds, which are tomatoes, that I sent him a couple years ago. But Bruce, did you plant them ever? Have you tried them yet? Because they're one of the best tomatoes. I did a lot of gardening when we were on the farm. I haven't done much here. I got one of those green stalk towers, and so far I tried and it did not work out very well for me. I think I picked too poor of soil, so nothing really grew. They grew like 3 inches, and then I can't believe you have not tried them until now. Well, anyway, you'll like them. They're very good. Amy says she's been wondering if she's the only person that truly wants to color every day. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who want to. There's just a lot of things that I want to do that I can't do if I just sit there and just color, like work on the kitty coloring book that I'm making. You know, gotta work on splitting my time. It's the only thing you kept forgetting to plant. I'm so offended. Well, I can't wait for them to grow. They do grow really big and thick, huge stems. So just FYI, if you're doing support with them, they're kind of monsters. So when they get started. But I really like those tomatoes, and I'm someone who doesn't really eat like tomatoes in general. I mean, I do, but I don't, not really. But those were the first tomatoes I tried, like, that weren't cherry tomatoes. And I liked them a lot. And then, Amanda said that she only got the stripes and spots first layer done in her coloring. And she said also that if it was up to her, she would color every day, all day. Well, you seem to do a lot of coloring, Amanda, that's for sure. I mean, when you've been posting some stuff, it's usually like at least 2 pages. So that's pretty crazy because, I mean, as you see, this takes me these small, what seems like small bits, take me 2 hours when I'm actually really focused on doing it. And so, sorry. Yeah, responsibilities. And okay, now I'm going like a little bit darker with the blue. You can see like it's really light over here. I'm going a little bit darker where I want it to show up more. I think I'm going to do that down here too. Must have taken some pretty good artistic license in the fins here because, well, it's not the same picture that I was looking at when I drew. So it looks a little bit different. I don't see the fin lines as well as other pictures, but I liked the color of this one. So we'll just see what happens. If it gets colored over in all black, that's okay. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to let the lines show, Amanda's been recovering from a hospital stay while also quitting smoking. So she sits there, and that's how she keeps her hands busy. I'm usually always doing something. I was talking here with Amy earlier, I've been working on setting up my new websites. So I have so far AdrienneSmith.Art, and then I bought this morning the domain name for Guava Cat Press, and so that's going to be guavacatpress.com. And nothing's really set up there, so it's probably like a nothing right now if you happen to go there. But I think I've been thinking about selling individual pages. Okay, so tell me what you all think, because I don't know. I might join Etsy. I need to talk to my husband about it because they were having banking issues, and I don't know how that's going for everybody who has an Etsy right now. But so Etsy, the bank that Etsy used like collapsed or something, and then like people weren't getting paid, and it's been a whole thing. And so I don't know for sure if I want to use Etsy. I do, because I know that they do a bit of the marketing themselves. So it's like already a community that people look for coloring pages specifically. And then I don't remember where I was going with that. Well, anyway, I was going to say I was going to put up individual coloring pages for people to purchase. Do you think that's a good idea? Or should I just stick to like the whole coloring books? It was something that someone said to me that I was like, well, that's not a terrible idea. But I haven't decided. That doesn't really have anything to do with what I was saying, though, Amanda. It's not on the your card side. It was the bank that Etsy actually uses. So it's not the bank that I would use. That's not an issue. But there was a lot of companies that were just using this one bank that went under, and it was a whole thing. But I think they got some sort of government bailout. I don't know. I'll have to ask my husband about it in general anyway. But I can do I can do both. It's not like Etsy and not the website, but I'm for sure setting up the website, because I also found that I could set up the website and also post my Amazon products, my Amazon published books on there, and people would be at my website but still be buying through Amazon. But yeah, so I was thinking I could, because I'm done with 4 of the kitty coloring pages so far, and if I didn't want to wait to share them, I could post them individually for people to buy and print if they wanted. But I don't know. People complain about the Amazon paper a lot, and I really don't think it's that bad. And I don't know if it's just that I'm not that picky, or if I have a different technique than other people. I mean, it's way better than coloring book pages were when I was a kid, right? They were on like brown newsprint. Like, so I don't know. I don't quite understand really why people complain about the Amazon paper itself. I do know it's not really meant. I don't know if I've said this here. I've probably said this privately to Amanda, but people who self-publish on Amazon, they don't get a choice in the quality of paper. Actually, you get two choices. You get to use the colored paper or the not colored paper. or the paper used for color printing or not the paper they use for color printing. So basically you have the choice between 55-pound, which is what my coloring book is, or 60-pound paper. And so I did not think that the cost difference was quite worth it. I do have something printed on that color paper because I published a planner. And so I can practice in that planner because it was a test print, and see what it's like to color on it. But I don't know if the cost is considerably more in comparison. So that's why I didn't go with the 60-pound paper, because really 5 pounds in paper world is not a lot. So anyway, the Amazon self-publishers, you just don't get a choice. And that makes me so sad because most of the negative reviews on coloring books that are self-published through Amazon is the quality of paper. And apparently, Amazon doesn't really care because they haven't changed that option, So, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, really. Oh, just that I just don't mind Amazon paper, I guess. But so I guess I decided to go over it all in blue, but have some darker areas where I think more blue is going to show through the black when we get there. And I was thinking about allowing people to print off the entire book themselves too. And I decided that it would be, I know a lot of people make it cheaper, but I think it should be more expensive. And here's my reasoning. More expensive to purchase a PDF copy coloring book is what I'm trying to say, because people can print it off, however many times they like. It's not like a one and done. So I think it should be more expensive to use the print option, print your own option. So I would probably, my Amazon, this coloring book is $6.92 on Amazon right now. Sometimes they change prices, but that's what price I picked. And I think for the print your own, I would do probably $10 at least. And yeah, that's just my random thoughts. I hope you appreciated it. Random thoughts with Adrienne. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to like Office Depot to print stuff, but I was printing, I printed off a couple things. I did a couple coloring book pages, and then my test prints for when I was doing the swatch pages. And my local Office Depot, hopefully I said Office Depot before, my local Office Depot says they do not print copyrighted images, which is kind of funny because like literally every image is copyrighted by the creator, like automatically. You don't have to like do that anyway, for one. And then for two, the one I printed said that, for free use, it was fine. Like the actual person had given anyone permission to print off this one singular copy, or whatever. You could make 7 if you wanted, but Office Depot was like, oh my God, we don't usually print stuff like that. It's like, don't worry about it. I'm not trying to like thwart the system or anything, I promise. Okay, so did a pretty good base of blue here. I'm going to take a quick break and go potty. So let me find my mute button so you guys don't hear, because the bathroom is not very far away. One sec. I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. Need some liquid. Okay, now I think, do I want to add some indigo? Oh, I don't know. Sure, so I'm going to take the indigo, which is 901, and just add a little bit more blue in some areas. Where I want blue rather than black. And hopefully I'll remember that when I get to the black. Or where I want this darker blue, not the lighter blue. Oh, I see now this thing on the inspiration image is actually yellow, but that's already colored blue, so I'm not gonna change that because then it'll just be green. Real quick, while we're here, I'm gonna take Sunburst Yellow 917 and put that around the eye here, because it's more yellowy rather, or yellow orangey. We'll make that part of the eye, what is it? The iris. Take some mineral orange. Give it some little bit of different color here. Gradient. Get this orange, Spanish orange, 1003. Put that here. Go back to the canary yellow, 916. Kind of go over that to blend it. There we go. Then back to my indigo. Let's give it a light layer. It may or may not show up in the end, but I'm, wasting nothing but time. I just keep thinking about how Esther colored this guy, and I think she did such a good job. Like a little dent in the paper there. Doesn't look like I could fill it in. Oh, there we go. Got that little dent filled in. Sorry, I'm a little phlegmy today. We're getting close to finished. Not sure how much longer it'll take. So after this, we will go ahead and grab black. Add in final touches and stuff. Maybe I should change the titles of these on my YouTube channel to like color tutorial or something. Do you feel like this is a tutorial-y? You feel like you're learning, or am I just rambling? I kind of tried to say what I'm doing. Mostly it's just layers. Doing layers and making color choices. I think the biggest help point, for how I'm coloring these specifically is looking at an inspiration image. So, the image that's right over there, that guy. Oh, well, I'm glad that it's helping. And I kind of, honestly, I kind of just wing it. So I'm glad you feel that it's worth your time to watch. Because I like to help people. I always end up being a person that kind of knows a lot about whatever I'm doing, and people will end up asking me about it. Like when I had chickens, I always had friends asking me how to care for them or what's going on with their chicken or blah blah blah, which I love that. I like being useful in that way. I think we might go over the 2-hour mark today. I'm really glad it helps you too, Amanda. really glad to know I can be helpful because, otherwise it feels kind of like, what am I doing? So I really appreciate the feedback. Did I say indigo was 901? Indigo is 901 with Prismacolors. But I do you can still achieve really, really great colorings with cheaper pencils. You don't have to use Prismacolor. I mean, like I said before, the other two lives, I may have said that I have used these most of my life. I don't know if I said why. So when I was young, before I go there, I used these most of my life, and then I used for the first time, basically. I mean, I used Crayola and stuff. I'm not going to count that, but for the first time, I used a different brand, which was the colored pencils. And with those, I found they were too hard for me, and they exacerbated the carpal tunnel symptoms. So I went back to my Prismacolors, and I haven't had those symptoms again, really. So, and I started wearing a brace when I sleep, which I've done in the past and have had to do before. But the reason why I started with Prismacolor pencils was way back in the day when I was a kid. My aunt worked at a school in some sort of official capacity, not a teacher, but like, the board, or I don't know. Anyway, some official school, blah, blah, blah. And she would go to these conferences, and they would have vendors there. And that was my favorite part. So like there'd be vendors with a bunch of paper products, and then like notebooks or notepads. There was a lot of notepads. So my cousin and I would go through all the vendors, and we'd get like bags worth of free crap, pens, markers, lots of pens, lots of notepads and stuff. And advertising materials, basically, would go through and just grab a bunch. It was our favorite, and we'd come home and we'd be all stoked. But there was a Prismacolor vendor there, and somehow my dad ended up dating her, and so I was pretty young when I got my first set of Prismacolors. I think it was probably like a 36 set, 24 or 36. I could have been bigger, I don't know. I've never had the 150 until now, but I do now. I just got them as a grown-up for the first time. But yeah, so basically it's fair to say I've used Prismacolors basically my entire life, because I think I was under 10 years old, or around 10. No, maybe I was around 10, because I remember really liking boys. So big crushes when I got my first set. So I'm kind of partial. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the quality control, but really I'm not finding the issues that I see people complain about. So I do think they're worth it. A lot of people they're not worth the price, but they are one of the cheapest high-end pencils, like high-end, professional quality. So if you can ever save up to afford them, I definitely recommend it. I don't know. I think I have like one pencil that the wood isn't amazing on, but it's nothing that makes the pencil not work. And even though I thought I was going to get a lot of broken lead pencils because it was shipped to me, and let me tell you, the USPS is not nice to the package that come to the Virgin Islands, and I don't know if it's on its way or all of the above, or when it finally gets here, when they're really hard on packages, but I get a lot of crushed packages. And some of the pencils were kind of like moved around a bit in the box they came in, even though it was the official box, where they have individual little places to live. And so I haven't had an issue with any of the broken lead stuff. But I have in the past, that's for sure. I have in the past, and that could have been purchased that way, or it could have been because I dropped it. Or dropped the pencil that I was having issues with. So if you ever see me drop a pencil or hear me go, oh, because I dropped a pencil, it's because I dropped a pencil, and it often breaks the lead inside the pencil. So that's when that happens. You sharpen it and like the lead comes out, and it's a whole thing, and you feel like you lose a lot of the pencil, and people stress out about it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Oh my goodness. Oh. But anyway, so all that to say that I don't agree with the people who say that they're not worth it. I definitely think they're worth it. I didn't think it was worth buying the 150 pack for a really long time, and I'm still not sure that it is. And I say that because you can mix colors like this like pretty easily, and they blend really well. So I never recommend getting the biggest set if finances are an issue, because really, technicalities, you don't need them. And literally, I think the biggest set I ever had, I don't know, what is there? There's like 36, there's 48. Is there 64, or is that just Crayola crayons? So I may have gotten the 72 set at one point in my life, or I got the 48. I know for sure I've gotten 48 before. And then maybe I bought a bunch of pencils individually. They call that open stock, if you didn't know. Yeah. So that was my little speech about Prismacolors, I guess. I really want to try the other high-end brands, but I'm having a really hard time justifying the cost, especially if I don't know if it's going to hurt me or not, because I bought the 300 set of Prismacolors. I'm sorry, not Prismacolors. I bought the 300 set of the colors, and honestly, I wouldn't buy them again for myself. And it's not that they're bad, because they're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. They're decent budget colored pencils, as I've said. But they hurt me. And honestly, it is overwhelming having that many choices of colors. Overwhelming. And they're hard to sort. So that is my honest opinion on them. But they're really the only other colored pencil I've really tried. So I guess I really don't have like that much to compare it to, really. So I have an automatic feeder for my cat Benjamin, and you can set it for what times you want it to feed him. And he is one of those cats that cannot have just like a bowl of food out, because he'll scarf and barf. And so instead of having to be home at 9 a.m. and at 6 p.m., I got this automatic feeder because we were going out to dinner more often, because we don't have as many responsibilities here now that we don't have a farm. And so I felt bad when Benjamin wasn't getting his dinner on time, because all animals, they just really like routine. And so I got this automatic feeder, and now it feeds him a few portions at 6, a few portions at 6:05. And originally I was doing like one more portion at 6:10, and then I was doing kind of the same thing at 6 p.m. in the morning is 9, and in the evening is 6. And recently I had to reset the feeder because we got a new internet router thing, and I decided to change it to feeding him twice at 6 and then twice at 9, or the other way around, twice at 9, twice at 6, but also give him a lunch at 12:30. And so it just went off a couple minutes ago, and freaks me out every time because he dashes for that thing like he's not eaten ever in his life. Is a little bit ridiculous. So he dashes for it, and it's a little bit scary if you're possibly in his path. So I don't know. I might change it back to him just getting all the food, during his actual feed times, because his nails are sharp. Sometimes I clip them, but dang, his nails are just sharp. Okay, so that was the indigo, and I'm going to go in with the black. Oh, no, that's the indigo. Start the black here, which is 935. And I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start where I think it's the darkest, or where I feel it's the darkest areas. So like you can see the face is not as dark as, say, like right behind the first line here. Oh, you did end up buying some individual prisms. That's great. I'm glad you're testing them out to see. I mean, also, people can just get biased in what they use, and then of course everybody's different. I really want to try like the polychromos and the Grande or whatever it's called. However you pronounce that. And yeah, but I just see the prices, and I'm just like, golly, I can't. I don't know. I did tell you that I got the on the way to me. Oh, you got some yellow just for this page? Well, I'm glad you're mixing the two brands together to see how that works for you. And I hope it works out well. I'm sure it's working out well. Oh, yeah. But I don't know. I'm having a hard time justifying the cost. So I ended up, when I bought these 150 set of Prismacolors, I did find them for only $80 on Walmart. Okay. On the Walmart app. So that was something that made me buy them, because usually they're like between $120 and $150. So the $80 was like, can I afford not to get them? And I was like, no. I can't afford not to get them at this price. And so that's pretty much the only reason why I got them. I don't think I would have purchased them for sure if they were $120 or $150. So I bought those. I bought these 150 Prismas and the 300 set of colors at the same time. And I ended up using like my own money, because I call my own money that I make from whatever side things I'm doing, like my coloring book sales or art I've sold, or whatever things I've sold of mine, or things like that. And Dan just says that's my money. I get to do whatever I want with it. And when I told him, I used it, I used a bit of it to buy colored pencils, and he's like, well, you could have used our account for that. And I was like, well, really? He's like, yeah, I don't care. I was like, well, then what's my account money for? I thought it was for like kind of frivolous goodies. And he's like, well, your art supplies aren't really that frivolous, because you do, whatever I do here, you actually do stuff with them. And I was like, wow, I guess you're right. But then what do I use my own money for? honestly, he didn't really have a good answer. So I was like, fine. Well, I spent my own money on that. I sent $100 back to myself. He just laughed when I told him that. He's a good guy. But now, and I don't know, we'll see what he says. But with the sales, oh, you love him more and more. My husband, he's a good guy. He's really nice. He's really supportive too. For gifts for him, but I could use his money for gifts for him. And then I tell him, don't look at the bank account. I bought a gift for you. But we'll see what he says. If he says I can use the bank account money, but that's fine. But if I need to, I'm saving up for a new iPad. One with more memories. Because the bigger memory you have in your iPad, the larger like canvases you can use, or use on like Procreate when you're like drawing and making art on it. So that's kind of like what I'm doing right now, saving up some money for that. At least that's what I think I'm doing. Yeah, I don't really have. He's funny. I don't know. Before it was like a little bit more important. When we were just getting out of the military and stuff, it was more important for me to have a little bit of my own little side money so that I could use for random things when we were struggling more financially. Or buy things, it would just be like a separate savings account, kind of at the time. And I think when we first moved into the house we bought in Central Oregon, the farm, we needed a washer and dryer, and I had about $900 saved or whatever from various things I did over the years. And I ended up buying the washer and dryer because we just bought the house and we didn't really have any other money. And one time I think I bought fencing because I wanted fencing right now. Dan's like, well, we could do it, next month. And I was like, no, I want it now. So then I bought fencing. So there's things like that. But now I don't really need to. Although when I was buying a lot of plants last year, I was a little bit embarrassed with how much impulse control I did not have. And so I would use my own money to buy more plants. Which I'm sure he would have told me that I could have bought it with that house money or, family money too, but I felt fine to buy it for myself. Sometimes, I think you just got to buy something for yourself and it feels better. Oh, you're going on a cruise in September? To where? To here? I've never been on a cruise, but I get motion sick, so that's really deterred me from thinking even about going on a cruise. And people are like, oh, you should try this, and I try things. Most things make me sleep, like Dramamine and stuff. That makes me sleep, pass out. I guess there's this patch you can get now, and it goes on like behind your ear or something, and that lasts for a few days. I don't know where Cozumel is. I've heard of it, but I'm on the island of St. Croix of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Usually the cruise ships go to the west end, which is Frederiksted, but some tiny cruise ships are starting to come now to Christiansted, Mexico. Oh, I see. Okay. Some super tiny cruise ships. I think they'd be called like extra large yachts. here's something you will love about my husband, which I do too. I think about it a lot. And it makes me smile. But so when I was in that plant buying phase, I was so hyper focused on it, and I just kept buying more, and it really was not a good thing to do. I knew it wasn't going to last, and it hasn't, and now I'm struggling to keep them alive. But anyway, my husband was like, excuse me, he's like, you cannot turn the balcony into a jungle. And I kind of knew he was joking, but like I kind of didn't, because I'm pretty a literal person. So if he like says that, in my head it's like, okay, that's the rule. But then like I really know that he doesn't super mean it, because it was making me happy at the time. And so like I told him, I was like, I felt rebellious buying plants because you said don't make it into a jungle. And I was like, haha, you can't stop me. And I was like, I felt rebellious. And he's like, yeah, I know you need that sometimes. He's so good to me. Oh, I'm trying to do bucket lists. So what all is on your bucket list? I don't really have a bucket list. There's not a lot of things I like really want to do. Like I do want to travel more, but also when I think about it, I get really stressed out. So we just moved here instead. We were originally going to just visit here and see if we liked it. And that would have been May last year was our planned vacation to visit here. And then instead of visiting, we ended up moving here in December of 2021. So we moved here without having visited, and it was fine. I think it worked out fine because we've lived in other countries with the military and stuff, so it wasn't that big of a deal to move to, another US area. I'm really warm all of a sudden. I'm kind of losing interest in doing this today. I apologize for that. If you can feel it. I do want to get it done though, so I think I'm just feeling antsy. Ready to get up. This looks like so much better on the screen than it does in person. Where's the Mason-Dixon line? I don't know. Do you already have that Tiny Cats book? Oh, Amanda, Amy and I were talking about if I would do another color along. We talked about this at the very beginning. I don't think you were here, but and I thought it would be nice to do something else. So I was suggesting that people get the Tiny Cats book. Where did I put it? Mm-mm. Oh, there it is. The Tiny Cats by Coco Wayo on Amazon. Yes. And maybe we can do a color along from there. One thing I don't like about this book is they have the black back pages, so we may want to put something in between pages for coloring, because if you press too hard, the black will show up on the next page. But yeah. Anyway, so if you don't have that book, Amanda, maybe you want to consider getting it if you want to do another color along, and you'll want to get it to Amy, and if anyone else wants to join in. because I think we'll do something from there because it's pretty simple, the artwork in there. And so I think it will be a nice, you know, Washington, what? Washington State or Washington, D.C.? Because I'm from Oregon, so Washington always means Washington State to me. What? Yes? Benjamin? Okay, get up then. Come on. Hurry up. He just jumped on. Hit his foot. You're going to sit right there? Okay. Yeah. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah. Get the Tiny Cats book if you want to do another color along. No, don't play with stuff. If you're going to sit here. That where the Mason-Dixie line is? I've literally never heard of the Mason-Dixie line, so I don't. I mean, I think I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. So it doesn't seem relevant to the Pacific Northwest. That feels like a southern thing. But I could be wrong because I really don't know. Hey, no, don't play with stuff. Go up to your little kitty perch. Well then. Ooh, this is a little tedious today. Yes, I agree with you, Amanda. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. There we go. So is it like the top of Arizona? Because you're in Arizona, correct? I think. Yeah. Oh, you think so? That's why I'm feeling tedious. Well, I think I'm feeling a little bit done because I've been sitting on my butt here at my desk for 2 hours. So I may not be able to finish this today like I had originally planned because my attention span is lacking. That just means we'll have more lives. So right now I just had the sudden urge to draw more around the yellow circle. Thank you. I feel like they're all like blah because I need to practice with what I used. Not quite as cute as when I used the acrylic paint pens, but it just made the top coat peel off, which made everything peel off, so that didn't work very well. So I'll have to decide when to do the next color along. I may need a break in between this and that, but we'll see. I'll announce it wherever when I decide. And break by I just mean like a week or two or something, so I don't get burnt out on stuff. Don't want to get burnt out. Oh, I gotta plug in my phone. Hold on, I'm gonna shake the phone. Sorry. Oh. Go. Then that'll give people time to buy the book if they don't have it, or get whatever they want to get. But if I really want to continue on coloring in this book, I think I'm gonna have to do color alongs with it because I have little urge. And that's just because I think I'm excited about other things, like kind of like Amy was saying, working on designing the kitties in nature coloring book, and really got to do some house stuff. I have some projects that I started quite a few months ago that I haven't finished. But now, even though they were fun when I was doing them, they seem like a chore now because there's things that I feel seem more fun. So I felt like outlining these because I totally accidentally colored over them. It looks like I tried not to, and by outlining them, it seems like it's making it pop. Then I feel like I can see the edges a little better for coloring, because this seems pretty dark back here. You want to do this book with color alongs? I think it's the only way I'll be able to do it. It's hard coloring. I don't know if you were here when I was telling Amy it's kind of hard coloring my own book because I spent all that time making it. So I'll probably need to do like other things in between, not just this book straight, I still got to finish the other page I was using, or I was doing in here, but just with color pencils. And I was videoing that. But I think I had like hours of video. I mean, you can imagine how long it would take. And so I have to speed it up quite a bit because I wouldn't be able to stand even editing that much video, let alone watching it. So that's still a little ways off because I actually got to finish that one. Oh, I'm not sure anyone's supernaturally good at anything. Everything takes practice. Everything is a skill that somebody can develop. So if you haven't, really practiced or tried to learn how to do something on purpose, then no one's gonna be good at it. we can just switch up, do this book, and then say next time we'll do the next book. I'm not sure what you're saying, but we are not going to do this book for the next color along. So I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not a fan of when people are hard on themselves, especially about art, because I know from firsthand experience that it takes practice to get better. And, you know, words, brain fart. Oh yeah, it takes practice to get better. Because if I don't do any art for a long time, it's definitely not as good as it was when I was doing art consecutive or consistently. And then I had to learn, how to use different materials. And well, one thing that's nice is that even though you get rusty, it comes back quicker each time. But I just want everybody to know that when they think of art or artistic skill as a talent, that makes it sound that it's innate. And honestly, it's not. What's the innate part about it is the urge to want to do more, the urge to want to get better, the ability to be dedicated and get better on purpose, and not lose sight when you feel that you're not good at it, because nobody's good at anything right off. I just think the want and the need to do that thing has to be there, and you'll get better if you keep practicing, and you'll get better if you want to, and you'll get better because learning new things creates new neural pathways, and you have to build those pathways, and it takes time. And that's why everyone says practice. It feels like a cop-out, but it is literally the only way. And I hope that's more inspiring for you than like a lecture, because that's how it's meant to be. So I notice a little bit in the coloring groups, but more so in art groups, people are just like, I'm sure you've seen it in the coloring groups too, and they're like, I'm not posting anything. You guys are so good. And they're good because they've done it for a long time. They're on a different, they're on a different part of their journey. Everyone is. And some people can run on their little artistic journey, so they learn faster. And that's not something that, it's an individual thing. You can't base your learning off of someone else's ability to learn faster or whatever. That's just something that's different between each person. And some people take a lot of breaks on their artistic journey where they lose interest in a long time, so they take even longer to get to the same spot as someone else. And some people just stop altogether, and those are the people who say, I can't. And I know quite a few of those people. Mostly those people are the people who believe that art is some sort of intrinsic, God-given, you're born with it talent. And I have to say I disagree, because I've seen people who could only draw stick figures, and once they started to purposefully learn, it did not take long for them to be able to draw really well, and then you just keep getting better and better as long as you practice on purpose. And practicing on purpose means learning new things, learning new techniques, doing this, learning how someone else does something. And even if you're just here just watching and not drawing, you're still learning. And you may pick up, or not coloring or drawing or whatever, you may pick up something that you'll subconsciously use in the future. And that's my experience. And art's for everybody. You make art, you're an artist. The name isn't, there's not many requirements for that name. You make art, you're an artist. Period. I mean, I used to think it was so specific, but when I was young, I think, well, I don't know if I did, but I notice other people think it's so specific and they can't call themselves an artist, but okay. That sounds great, Amanda. Have fun with your kids' birthday lunch. I think I'm going to close this down soon. Because I don't want to sit here very much longer. But yeah. What are you saying? You have a real time where the shade is supposed to be, so I shadow and put wherever. You have a hard time with knowing where shadows are supposed to be. Is that what you're saying? I'm not leaving quite yet. But to help figure out where shade and shadow is supposed to be, you have to decide where your light source is coming from. So for this, I didn't do a great job of it, but for this, I decided it was coming from like the top corner, but a little bit behind the fish. So imagine like right around, oh, you can't see where I'm pointing. So right around here. So imagine the sun is here and it's pointing in all these directions, right? The sun is putting light all like this. So it's a little hard when you decide that it's a little bit behind the object that's in the foreground. So that's when you use some little bit of artistic license, right? But so for the sun coming from here, pointing that way on this fish, I decided right here would be a light portion, right? That makes sense. Right here would be light because that's where the sun would hit, because those things are kind of closer to the sun. And then right here, so this kind of looks like this part of the fin, and this part of the fin is so it's kind of like curved. So this is further back, this is lighter. So when the sun hit, I decided on this fin, I kind of made it kind of looks like the fin is coming towards us a little bit. So, or maybe like this part of it might be blocking the light that's coming from this direction. So I kind of used some artistic license on this, but I think it looks all right. I mean, really, the light source is kind of, in real life, in the water, it's going to be kind of coming from wherever the sun is outside of the water, right? But also kind of all down. So really, if I was really actually thinking better about it, this would have been lighter, or sorry, off the screen. This part would have been a little bit lighter than what I achieved here. So, I'm kind of just coloring right now. I'm not thinking super hard about it, but whenever I do color, almost always the light comes from one of the top corners. So usually boop or boop. And so you want, this part down here, like the bottom of the fish, that's not going to get any of the sunlight. So he'll be darker down here, kind of like here. Oh yeah, you absolutely can. And if you, I think, if you watch it again and you come to this part of the video, if you go on YouTube, I know you can save the time marker of when we're talking about this. I don't know how to do that on Facebook, but yeah. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. But I always decide where the light is coming from, and I'm gonna talk about the light now because I feel done coloring. So I'm gonna wrap this. We're done coloring for today. We'll come back to it on Friday, or if I feel up to it, maybe tomorrow. But I'll hopefully it was a little bit nicer to have a little bit more time warning today. But I want to show you. Oh gosh, I got so much crap going on here. I'm gonna pull this up and 1 sec. Let me just situate things here. Yeah, no problem in helping. I hope I'm making some sense. I'm not really a great teacher, but hopefully. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you car sick. I'm gonna be able to get some. Okay. So this one, I don't know how much you can tell on this, but the light was kind of coming. Well, I actually messed up. No, I decided this way too. So the red here is lighter and it's darker here. And I made the orange accents on the mushrooms come from that light angle, if you can tell. I try to do that on the shell. So I added some white highlight around here where I thought the light might hit it. And so I decided why this is lighter here is because I think when he was sitting that way, his legs would be, further open, hitting the light. Trying to remember. Okay, so actually for this one, I did the light coming from this direction. Well, that's because this one had shadow in it already. So he did an okay job with the shadow. It wasn't like super great. But so I had to go along with that. You see, like this side is darker because the light is coming from this direction. And then this is the last real example I have for you because I haven't been coloring in a while. But so then, again with this one, the light is coming from this direction. You can tell, especially like in the flowers here, it's light there. And then so if you decide where your light's coming from, maybe if you know what color you're going to do the thing, you could maybe do a little bit of dark green right here and then a little bit of light green. And then you imagine kind of like a gradient. So for his arm, the light would really be hitting there, but of course it would be darker right here. Especially, you'd always take a flashlight, shine it on something, and you could see where shadows hit and stuff if you needed a more visual. But yeah, so then that's basically what I do. And sometimes I don't get it right. Sometimes I get ahead of myself and I I don't color it right. Like this, for example. Oops. Okay. inside here, it probably should have been a little bit lighter because the light probably would have been hitting it a little bit more, like inside the actual with flower or whatever this thing is. So sometimes you mess up, but you do your best and it ends up looking pretty good anyway. But yeah, so that's how I do light. I think, you know, for you it would be helpful to try doing the dark, like just do like a light line where you think it's going to be darker, and don't like make it like dark right away, but that might help. And then for this, I didn't quite get it enough because I'm not done with this page, but you know, there's going to be more shadow because he's hanging on this whatever branch thingy this is, so there'll be like a really kind of a crisp shadow behind this because he's probably, you know, his belly's probably hitting it. So let's see, I'm gonna point my light here. Kind of different. Let's see if it can. Okay, so you see how the shadow right here is like not crisp, but the closer my hand is to the object, the more of a solid line it is. Anyway, that's what I have for you on that. And I'm happy to help answer any other questions like that when I can. So, yeah. I love this book, Amy. If you were thinking about getting a book, this is the Frog's Tale book. And like, I want to color every single page, and I'm not even exaggerating. I started with the This Book Belongs To page. And I even colored this page, which is probably not even like something, you know, it was, you could color it obviously, and then the instruction page. Like, I want to color every single page. It's adorable. So yeah. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been on for 2.5 hours, and I'm so glad I could help you, Amy. And for sure, unless something comes up, I'll come again Friday. Maybe tomorrow, but I'm not going to commit. So that would be like a surprise one. Maybe. So I do appreciate you all hanging out, and I will see you next time. Bye.